How's it going? My name is Luis Torres. I'm a targeted individual. I've been a targeted individual for about 5 years. I created this live stream support system for all targeted individuals so that way they can have help for any point of their process as being a targeted individual. In order to get in contact with me, please use the live chat feature, which is at the bottom of the screen or at the right if you're on desktop. You will have your questions, concern, and or comments addressed online on the feed, so that way other individuals can understand what you're saying and what you're trying to get what you're trying to get across. Um, this is a selection-based process where all individuals who have been selected have to establish some kind of communications with their God, as their God is trying to communicate with them at this present moment. My best advice would be to be respectful and discreet, as I have been told by an unknown operator who was traveling the the city, and he was supposed to be the Spirit of Jesus Christ, which spoke to me and let me know certain things that allowed me to see him as Jesus Christ. Um, you have to be able to understand that you have done some flaws in your life that these individuals are trying to bring to the awareness of God. But in order for these individuals to do so, you first have to find God. So since you can't find God, they're going to make your progress a lot slower and a lot dragged out. The best thing to do is to confess your sins to your God. This is what they're telling me, God, and this is what I need forgiveness for. Let them be your guide, as they will let you know what you have done in order to imbalance the system that is currently in place. Your Lord will forgive you according to your heart. So come to him sincerely, come to him ready to establish communications with your creator, as he has been establishing communication with me and my girlfriend. So this experience that I'm going through is not an experience that I am going through on my own. However, I am here to help you guys out in your progress, as I am a 24/7 live stream support operator for all targeted individuals. I'm making it my full-time job to help you guys out, as I am sacrificing my time, space, and matter in order to help you guys out. I want you to know my sacrifice, so that way it could be meaningful to you. In case you do like these videos or these live streams, please subscribe and hit that notification button in order to continue to be updated on when these live streams happen. I try to have these live streams early in the morning, so that way I'll be able to communicate with the morning crew. However, I do need to keep this live stream open, but I do need help in order to do so. So please keep in mind that I am looking for or recruiting people to help me out with this channel. I'm looking for contributors. I am looking for people who can come up with themes and or topics regarding the subject. Let me go right into it with the video, the latest video that I have. Then from there, I'll go into the stages while I try to get more viewers. The more viewers that I get, I'll be able to address you guys on camera. So please subscribe, share, and like the video. All right, let's go right into it. To check out my channel, you can look me up as OTIC102, or you can look me up under the keywords, which is Targeted Individuals 2019 live stream, 2019 24/7 live stream, and you can find me out. I'm gonna play this video for you guys, and you guys will be able to understand the communications or the level of communications that I have with the creator. All right, here we go. And it's called the Halo system. For the NFC, Luis Torres. I'm a targeted individual. I've been a targeted individual for about 5 years. I've been selected to be part of the program in order to help evolve and advance humankind, as I do have connections with source of knowledge and sources capable of communicating with me. As my light is lighting up, that's how you can tell the source is present in the moment and wants to communicate with you guys in order to come up with an invention that me and Source have managed to patent. Well, it's not patented yet, but this video is proof of copyright of this idea. All right, so the whole concept of the thing is called a halo. Uh, in order to be halo, you have to have a smartwatch, a smart ring, and a smartphone. However, you don't need the smartphone as long as the smartwatch is capable of Wi-Fi signal or some kind of cellular signal to send out and emit signals or GPS signals as to where you're at as far and as well as audio and video in order to record what is going on around. The whole concept of the smart ring is a panic button where if you are getting robbed or if you are in need of authorities, you press this button that is on the ring. It is a discrete button, and there are many styles that you could use, as I am envisioning many styles that you could use for this ring in order to keep it discreet. The watch connects with the ring and the smartphone. When you hit the panic button, this signal sends out. This ring or these devices sends out a signal to the authorities. However, the authorities do not have the technology for this type of devices or this type of system. The panic button now, once pressed, you will be able to send out signals from your device, from the front-facing camera, the back-facing camera, and the microphone, as well as the watch. You have to look at it in a standpoint where criminals usually go for jewelry and devices, such as watches and smartphones. They usually throw the smartphones out. However, they keep the watches um, and they keep the rings. So while they are running away or getting away with your devices, they are totally being recorded and are both visually and audibly. And it sends these signals out to the authorities. And when the authorities can manage to evolve to the next level as far as creating a higher system other than the system that we are currently facing, um, they would be able to contract or extract the electromagnetic frequency signature from the assailant as they are getting away. In order to do so, you have to use the NFC. I think it's called the NFC feature that is on your telephone. So they would have to implement the NFC into the watches as well, and they might have the NFC on the watches. Now, once advanced enough, you won't need the panic button because these devices or technology, once evolved to the next level, will be able to tell if you are actually panicked or if you are going through some kind of stress in your life, which will automatically trigger some kind of signal to the authorities to let them know what is going on with you. And you are capable of communicating with these authoritative figures by two-way radio from either the watch, the ring, or the smartphone. And this technology was developed by a higher being. As I have been going through the connection phase between me and the source of knowledge, and since I have been given the source of knowledge, I am here to give you guys a total glimpse of what is being formulated in my mind with this knowledge that I've been given. And I am just trying to create a system where people have discrete panic buttons and ways to catch assailants doing their crimes, and in order to make things better. Now, if the technology being used is compared with the technology that Samsung has as far as the fingerprint reader, you are totally capable of using this device and making it a full-fledged fingerprint reading device. So anybody that touches the device will have their fingerprints already stored in a database. And while their fingerprints are being stored in a database, the police officers or authoritative figures are capable of reading these and this individual's fingerprint in order to find out who was it that actually stole your devices, jewelry, and or accessories. This is just some of the information that I have been given by this source of knowledge, and I am here to share it with you guys. Um, and this device that I'm talking about is capable of helping so many people because it totally takes away from the beast system, as the beast system requires you to have a mark on your right hand or on your forehead. Now, this B system is capable of communicating with authoritative figures who are capable of helping you out without having to use the B system, as the B system is trying to incorporate safety, privacy, and protection, all while under the beast system. However, the beast system is only a form of destruction, as it totally takes away from privacy. However, this ring itself is totally capable of keeping you private as long as the technology and the service is kept private for individuals. And by privacy, I mean this device will not be used to record anything or any kind of data or any kind of media from your device to keep from people invading your privacy. It has to be trusted by a certain individual or certain service that is known to keep people safe as far as being their privacy invaded, because these electromagnetic frequency waves, the EMF frequency or the NFC uh, feature, which are on phones, are totally capable of reading your electromagnetic frequency field. If you want to test this out, you can go and get EMF detector off of Android store or the Apple store, and you could download that, put it next to a device that has NFC enabled, and you'll see that it has an electromagnetic frequency field. However, we could use this device in order to help benefit us and turn the system around. However, I do need help. I do have the ideas, as I am connected to source of knowledge. However, I do not have the ability to help flourish these ideas for the targeted individual community or anybody who is capable of benefiting from this device. So again, my name is Luis Torres. I'm in the targeted individual for 24/7 for about 5 years, and I will keep you updated as far as any other technology that is being revealed to me that other people can use. All right, bye. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button to keep you up to date with live streams and videos of my channel. Again, I truly appreciate your time and effort. Again, my name is Luis Torres, targeting an individual for about 5 years. Bye.
All right, what are they going to be playing next? All right, pay no attention to the commercials, as they do not run or endorse me in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to try to give you guys.
Hey guys, out there in social media land, this is Jennifer LeClaire, Senior Leader of the Awakening House of Prayer in South Florida, founder of the Ignite Apostolic Prophetic Network. And I want to talk to you today just for a few minutes.
This is my playlist. In case you want to order my find out my playlist, you can go.
Hey, how's it going? My name is Louis. And
look up playlist. You can find all stages of targeted individual community.
Wanted to speak about
at my page
how divine God is. Perfect example of being able to understand how divine God is.
Look at him running right there.
And how he humbles himself. You'd have to look at the sun and the sunrise, because the sunrise when the sun rises, when the sun rises, I mean to say, When the sun rises, you'll be able to see the entire sun without it blinding you. And you gotta pay attention to it. You gotta keep looking at it. And as it rises, it gets stronger. And as it gets higher, it gets stronger. But stay looking at it. You won't go blind. Believe me, you won't go blind. I mean, I do this a lot, so you won't go blind. All right. Shall keep the Sabbath day. So I'm gonna show you. Let me see if I can do this. No, that took a picture. All right. Anyway. When it goes to its highest, your eyes will start to water. And when it waters, you'd have to picture. You have to think with an open mind. You have to think with an artistic mentality in order for you to understand this. Your eyes will start to water. So when you look at God, He's so glorious that your eyes start to water at how magnificent He is. And to let you know, you have to be motivated. What the opposite of God is, the devil. When you look at the devil, he's beautiful and everything, but your eyes start to water. God programmed that in everybody, so that way they can understand how bad he fucked up. You just cry. And that's how the heavens treat the people on earth. They cry. That's why they have to be separated from us, because they're divine beings. And when you're that divine, you just cry at the sight of sin. So they have to be separated from us. But the time now is where we're uniting. God is letting the people from heavens visit us. And it's a time of the 144,000. They're being sought out by evil and good. And I'm bearing witness to that. When I first started hearing these voices, I probably used maybe 50% of my intellect. As I started hearing these voices, were the voice of God. And the rest of the voices, I started noticing that I started getting smarter, because they would always put me in different kinds of puzzle-like scenarios, using a huge portion of my mind and consciousness in order to understand and visualize, because it's all a mental thing. Now, you have to be strong. You got to get past the stages, because I didn't get to this stage through just ignoring these voices. I didn't get to this stage by community, because I didn't even know that other people had this. I started reading up about it, but I didn't know that other people had this. So I started using a huge portion of my brain, and I started understanding that in order to see how beautiful God is, you'd have to look for the brightest thing ever in the earth, which is the sun. Or in your house. If you ever want to, that's how God is present everywhere. You have to be able to look at the brightest thing that exists around you, and that's like God's presence, because he's the brightest thing. Even in the darkest place, there is still a bright portion or some kind of brightness, whether it be in your mind, whether it be a physical brightness, whether it be a spiritual brightness. There's always a brightness, and that's the presence of God. So when these voices came to existence in my life, I started noticing that it's they're blocking my thoughts because they don't want y'all to know this. All right. So, well, anyway, try to finish that sentence that I was saying, because you have to be smart enough in order to break through the communication that they're trying to communicate with you, because these are the secrets of the world that everybody is. No, I was a reviewer. I played video games. I did everything. I was a dental assistant. I was a criminal. I did all kinds of stuff. But this is different. Like, the level of understanding that I'm getting from these voices, I actually hear 6 different people. I've went through gang stalking. I've went through, what else? We got V2K. Y'all call it V2K, but I call it Voice of God, because it's crazy how much they control. They control the movements, the thought patterns, like everything. Everything. It becomes it at that point when they start controlling the entire world, it becomes a non-existence of a human being. They totally separate you and alienate you from the rest of the world, because they are directly speaking to you. So in order for you to understand what's going on, you have to be able to speak back into them. You have to do studies on psychology, social psychology, reverse psychology, any kind of psychology, because you have to be smart enough to communicate with these beings, whether they be human, whether they be spiritual, whether they be whatever it is. You have to be able to break the communication in order for them to stop doing what they're doing. You have to bring some kind of value to your life and let them know how much or important you are, because they are mapping out your brain in order to see how important you are. So if you don't see for yourself how important you are, then they'll destroy you, because they're testing you. All of it is just a test, and they don't care about your life, because the strong survive and the weak, like, fall out. They're seeking out the 144,000. The things that they have spoken to me, or just said anything, is just beyond phenomenal. Like, they have showed me visions where I was like touching the face of God, like, all of these spiritual things, because you have to bring it to a place where you can understand the most. I can understand spiritual or religion a huge portion of my life. Now, whether it be music, whether it be the solar system, whatever it is that best interests you, bring that theme into the communication pattern that you can actually communicate with these beings with, because all they want to do is communicate with you, and they don't know how to communicate with you, and they feel as though they are divine beings and you are inferior. So if you are an inferior being, it is only natural, it is only in anything that is in existence other than God believes that there is an opposing side to themselves. And even to God, it exists, because God has an opponent, which is the name, the devil. So everything that is good, there is always some kind of evil. But just because there is some kind of evil doesn't necessarily mean that the good is weak. It just means that the good can't penetrate the evil, and the evil can't penetrate the good. But anything that surrounds this evil, because there is a greater good and there is a greater evil, so you have to understand that just like we revolve around the sun, evil has a gravity to it where it starts to pull, like, it starts to pull things around it. Now, just because it's pulling things around doesn't necessarily mean that it's only pulling evil things. Sometimes good things get caught up in the gravity of evil, which is why you got to separate yourself, or find yourself in a place like heaven where you are totally separated from this greater evil. And in order for you to separate yourself from this greater evil, you have to understand that there is a greater good. Now, when you start to understand that there is a greater good, you start to open your mind to, like, well, what is the greater good? And you start asking yourself questions like, man, is this something that I want to know? Because now that I know all of this stuff, I'm like, wow, do I really want to know? Because now it's like, how do I get to the greater good? and the greater evil. For example, let's say I'm not a pagan, but I have to break this down in a metaphorical way so you can be able to understand what I'm saying 100%, because I don't want you to miss it. Even if you understand 95% of what I'm saying, you'll still miss exactly what I'm trying to say. And in order to understand God, you have to understand 100%. You have to be able to be smart. And this is what this is where I came into the understanding that what is it that you want out of life? You know, do you want success? Do you want money? You can get the things that you want, but you can't get understanding. You have to be able to have understanding. You have to be able to make your mind wiser. And these voices are capable of doing that if you're capable of breaking the barrier between the communications between this realm and whoever it is that's speaking to you, whether they be in an office, whether they be in heaven, whether they be in hell. You have to find out what is it that they're communicating and why they're communicating with you. What's that? Hello, how's it going? My name is Luis Torres. I've been a TI for about 5 years. I wanted to talk about stage one. Stage one is when you're actually first introduced or when you're first made aware that you're actually being targeted. It usually starts off with sound. You don't really get the visuals at stage one, and it's not 24/7 in the beginning. In the beginning, they slowly introduce themselves into your life, and you'll think that you'll hear sounds like if other people's talking or talking about you, but it's not really that other people are talking about you. It's just the way that they carry themselves or the way that V2K or the operators, I'll call them operators, but what I believe, I think is a spiritual thing, but most people actually think that it's a technological thing, you know, but from my experience, I've seen that it's something a lot greater than technology. You know, no amount of technology control the weather or the sun. You know, I'll say the sun when the sun is bright, when the sun is not. There was times when my voices said, you know, pay attention to the sun. We're about to dim it, and the sunlight will be dimmed when they say it. You know, but back to the introduction. That's for another video. You'll be introduced to V2K or gang stalking through what I call subliminal messages. You'll receive subliminal messages from the TV, from people around you, from your family members, friends, that it'll seem like they're talking about you. It'll seem like what a main focus of a problem. And always keep in mind that that problem, whatever it is that they're talking about, that means that's why you're on the whole program or whatever this is, because they want to address a problem. That's what they did with me. They wanted to address a problem, and they've addressed it. And in the beginning, it started off so small. Like if it was technology, they said it was the feds. When I first started talking to them, they said it was the feds and that I committed a crime. And that, you know, I was scared of that because I know I've committed plenty of crimes in my time. So I didn't want to go to jail. So I would tell them, no, 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 I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But as I learned, as I progressed through the levels, you know, from them introducing themselves, they wanted to just get their point across that I did something wrong in order to get in the program. So after a while of me denying, you know, any and every accusation that they can give me, I finally broke down and said, all right, well, listen, you know, I committed these crimes. So, you know, what are we going to go from here? So they said they would lock me up. But as time progressed, I didn't get locked up. So don't ever feel afraid. Don't ever feel afraid. Like if they're going to lock you up, kill you, don't be afraid of that. You give them power. You know, fear is what controls the mind, and what they want to do is control your mind. They want to control every aspect of your thought process in order to keep you in that first stage. But once you recognize realize why you've been in the program, you can address them about why you're in the program. So you have to be very aware of what's going on. That's why I say you have to be studying. You have to learn the way communication skills is between one person and another, because that's all. The whole program is based on communication and psychological programming for that communication. So when you think that you know that you're gonna die, or when you think that you're gonna go to jail, it gives them a lot more power than you know.
Welcome to the channel.
I like
I'm just playing some videos right now.
Program because from my experience, I only speak about the things that you. All right, I'll be here. All right. Yeah, I'm just posting. I'm just playing videos right now, so that way, you can get a better understanding as to what's going on and what they're communicating with me about. You can study my behaviors if need to be. You can study the conversation patterns and study the communication patterns and what they tell me in order to formulate your own plan. In order to formulate your own plan of attack, just keep in mind that these individuals do want you to confess your sins in front of God, because God is currently present. The system that is communicating with us. Well, not there's two different kind of systems. There's a system that's communicating with us, and the system that we're currently in. The system that we're currently in is called the B system. However, the system that is communicating with us is called the voice of God. Now, the whole concept of the voice of God is to manifest God's presence into the world in order for the world to be saved. However, there are dark forces that are working that do not want this to happen, which are dark entities. But so as these individuals do communicate with you, God wants you to be able, because they have complaints about you. They have complaints about your past life. They have complaints about your current life. They got complaints that they're actually complaining to God in order to get you sent to hell. So what is actually going on is everybody's getting interrogated, everybody's getting investigated about the things that they have done. According to your loyalty to the current system that is communicating with you determines on the outcome of the program. If you manage to avoid the program, deny the program, then the program will work against you. However, you are capable of making the program work for you if you are capable of confessing your sins and trying to change the way that you live. The best way to do so is by fasting, communicating with these individuals, and telling them that you're totally sorry. Have you seen they Speak Life says, have you seen they live creatures or demons or altered being in the 3D world, or as it always has always been subtle in your journey? Well, in my journey, what I've had to deal with, I had to deal with these voices. I had to deal with gang stalking. I had to deal with do weapons. I had to deal with the manipulation of reality, the manipulation of weather, the manipulation of thoughts, the manipulation of all of the process. Look, I'll be back. I'm gonna play the video. I'm gonna play the video. I gotta go to the store. I'll be back, and we can continue the conversation. I would love to enlighten you about all this information that has been given to me. Just bear with me. It'll be about 15 minutes. And hopefully that you can learn from it. But I call it the redemption program, because after they sat there and told me that I did all of these vicious criminal acts, I've sat there and said, well, where are we going to go with this? And they said, well, what do you want? And I said, I just want to be forgiven for everything. So then, slowly but surely, one of the voices said, he's being sincere, because they could tell when you're being sincere. They can hear what you hear. They can see what you see. They know what you think. They can make you think. Like, the whole program is designed to overpower yourself and to isolate you from regular people. And they'll use regular people. They'll mind control regular people. I know it sounds like sci-fi or anything like that, but for the people that's been through it, they know that it's not sci-fi. So I won't even address that, because it's like a slap in the face to them. But you'll notice that they'll use a lot of sound waves or a lot of background sounds
in order to communicate with you in the beginning. After a while, they'll communicate with you. You'll either advance to gang stalking or V2K, which means voice to skull, which means that you hear voices in your head. And there's different types of ways that you hear voices in your head. There's the thought, the way that you, like, let's say, for example, you're reading a book. I'm going to describe this so that way people who don't have it understand what it is. When you're reading a book in your mind, that voice in your head, that's how they talk to you. But they can use your voice and make it seem like it's you. But you have to be able to know yourself to know what you're thinking and what you would have thought. The whole thing is, how well do you know yourself and how well do you know the people around you? Because they'll use anything and everything to try to separate you from reality. I mean, I managed to get by because of the whole redemption program. I picked a theme. You know, I could have sat there and did music. I could have elevated myself in any way that I wanted to, but I picked religion. And I don't believe in just one religion. I believe in 3 religions, but that's just religion conversation. So I'll keep that out of it. So you have to be able to pick a theme, something that's best for you. If you want to see them as a government, then you got to address them as a government. If you want to see them as spiritual beings, then you got to address them as spiritual beings. You can't flip flop because the whole concept is to communicate with you. So when they pick one theme, when they notice that you're picking one theme, scare you with that theme. Or at least the voices in my head try to, pin me down through the themes that I was thinking, because I thought they were FBI's, I thought they were CIA, because that's what they were telling me. They were telling me that they were CIA. They were telling me that they were FBI. But they won't tell you who you are. That's what you got to understand. No matter what they tell you, they won't tell you who they are, because they're not going to get found out. There's no way that you're going to find these people out. They're too smart, and they go through too many precautions in order to keep themselves from being found out. So stage 1 is when they introduce themselves through sounds and places. So it's certain places that'll trigger the sounds. There's certain situations that'll trigger the sounds. And then as they elevate, the sounds will progress from maybe a couple of hours to maybe 12 hours. Then eventually it'll go right into 24/7. You'll either get gang stalked 24/7 here, V2K, or a combination of both, or do weapons. I feel bad for the people who go through do weapons, because that's a lot of pain that they go through. And even gang stalking. Gang stalking is the most uncomfortable thing that you could actually go through. Me dealing with the voices, it's all a mental thing. So all I have to do is just elevate my mental capacity in order to understand what's going on between the conversations from me and them, and try to address what's going on, so that way I can find out the information that I need to find out. The whole thing is to find out the information that you don't have, why you're in this program, why they're doing this to you. And they won't do it right off the bat because they like doing what they're doing. It's not that they like doing it, but they have to do it because they put people through stress in order to elevate them. Now, if you fight against this program, if you fight against these voices, if you fight against gang stalking, it'll kill you. It can kill you. This whole thing can kill you. It'll drive you to suicide. So you have to be a lot stronger mentally, not physically, because physical appearances isn't what makes the person. It's the mind what makes the person. So you have to be a lot stronger. So as they're injecting these sounds into your body or into your mind, you have to separate that and understand it. All right, well, this is part of the program. This is part of the process. They want to communicate with me. I have to pay attention, and I have to find out what is it that they're trying to tell me, because they're trying to tell you something. They'll let you know why you're in the program. And you'll get so scared at the fact that, oh, my God, I could get in trouble, or, oh, my God, I could die, or, oh, my God, my family think of me like this. No, it's all part of the program. And me, I've been dealing with targeted individuals for a while after I have managed to beat the system and get myself to a better understanding of who I am and what these voices are trying to do. So you have to study. Nothing comes easy. So if you want some kind of peace in your life, study psychology. Study social psychology. Why people do the things that they do, and it'll make you a lot better communicative towards your voices, or communicative towards the gang stalking. And gang stalking, it's all a mental thing. So when people are following you, when people are doing things to you, breaking into your house, it's all what's supposed to happen, because those things would happen even if you weren't part of the program. So it makes it seem like you're being targeted because they want to speak to you. They want to single you out. So you have to be very, very careful as to how you approach the thing. Don't go to anybody and tell them, oh, you're following me. Don't tell them, oh, you're part of the program, because they won't know nothing about it and they'll deny it, just like the voices would deny it. So you have to be very careful about what you do, because you could get yourself in trouble. You could land yourself in jail, because it'll be from electronic harassment or spiritual harassment or whatever this is, and you'll turn it against where you're harassing other people and you're making other people uncomfortable. So keep it within yourself. If you can, try to keep this within yourself. Go to targeted individuals that understand what you're saying. Because if you go to a normal person, they won't understand what you're saying. You have to go to like-minded people. You have to go to the flock. Go to the people that understand you the most, which is the targeted individual community. And let the targeted individual community educate other people, because it's not, you can't force somebody to be educated because they're part of the system, they're part of the program. They can be manipulated. You can't, for whatever reason. So don't let yourself be manipulated and fall back into the program, or don't let yourself fall back into their ways of thinking or the way that they treat you, because it's all mind control. You have to maintain, you have to keep your sanity, and you have to keep your profile the way it was while elevating. It's hard because you got to keep yourself, you have to find yourself, and you have to keep yourself 100% the way it was. So you're elevating, but you're stagnant. And as you elevate, when you get more smarter, when you get more knowledgeable, when you get more intellectual to this program, you'll understand that these sounds, that the stage one isn't going to affect you, because all it is fear. Stage one is fear. Introduce fear to the person so that way they can obey anything and everything that we're trying to do. If they can put fear in your heart, if they can put fear in your mind, then they can control you. So don't be afraid. They can't kill you. They cannot kill you. It is against what they're trying to do. They cannot kill you, but you can kill yourself, and that's not their fault, because that just means that you were weak-minded. You can't blame nobody for you not having a strong enough mind in order to make you strong enough for any situation. So they'll throw you into scenarios, and that's what stage one is, to find out where they can put you at. Eventually they'll enter stage two, is when they start communicating with you a lot more, and it becomes a 24/7 thing, and they introduce themselves as an entity, or they'll introduce themselves as a force to be reckoned with. But don't bother so much on trying to find who these people are, because these people are going to be there on your dying bed. These people will be there. I will hear these voices on my dying bed. My last breath, I will still hear these voices. There is no escape from this unless they want you to be by yourself and away from the program. But in order to do that, you can't beg them. That's something that they do on their own. You have to keep your sanity, because as you're introduced to this, you become so fearful that you don't know what you're doing, that nobody's there to help you, that nobody can back you up, that nobody's there. But you have to understand that we're here for you, and so is God. God sent the community in order to keep you safe and to keep you understood, because you're not alone. So as you're watching this, just know the introduction to stage one is just for them to pin you down. Stage one is just to pin you down. Hello, my name is Luis Torres. I'm a targeted individual, and I've been a targeted individual for about 5 years. Today, I wanted to talk about stage three. The battle, or the fight. Stage three is actually the most intense. This is actually where they raise the bar as far as your targeting, and you'll either hear, as far as V2K, you'll hear, it'll sound like the same phrases over and over, and you'll get upset. You'll curse them out. You'll let them know how much of a piece of shit they are. You let them know how much scum they are. You know, you're in total denial of anything that they try to tell you. You know, you try not to listen to them. You ignore them. Um, when you elevate to stage 3, this is where your life becomes, in danger. This is where you become stressed out. This is the part where, you know, all hell breaks loose and your world starts coming to an end. In the fight stage is where you either end up in jail for confronting people. As far as gang stalking, you'll become suicidal, B2K, or with these voices or voice of God technology, or whatever it may be. You'll become suicidal because it's 24/7. You can't sleep, can't really do anything. You're totally paralyzed, and no matter where you go as far as gang stalking, they're there. It seems like everybody's in on it. Seems like they're controlling the world. Seems like everybody's against you, and you become stressed out. When you become stressed out, your brain can't take it no more, and you eventually will either try to commit suicide or hurt somebody severely. Not until stage 3, the fight stage, is where you want to lash out at everybody because you want to stop, and you don't want to be a part of the program no more. You don't want to deal with it. You want your privacy. You want your life back. You just have no understanding of what's going on or how you can stop. Most people tend to want to stop this right away, and want their life back. But what I want you to know is it's hard to get your life back because this is not going to stop. Um, these people, they're well prepared. These entities are well prepared to be in your life 24/7, and they have no problem in doing so. At stage 3 is where, they'll tell you we control a lot of the people. They'll let you know this, whether it's through their mouth, whether it's through the mouth of somebody else. They will let you know that we control the world, and this is how things are going to be. So you either evolve to the vibration that you need to be at, or to the place, to the intellectual standing that you need to be at, and rise above all of the madness, or you're going to let the madness consume you and become insane. You'll go to the mental hospital. They have no problem with you going to the mental hospital because once you're in the mental hospital, that's part of your record, your life record for the rest of your life. So that's just one tactic that they use. They'll threaten you. They'll break into your house, and it's the fight stage. Well, you're not going to come into my house. I'm going to go get a gun, or I'm going to sleep with my knife. I'm not going to let nobody push me around. I'm not going to let anybody, try to sabotage what I got. This is why they isolate you, because they know this is exactly what stage 3 is all about, and they try to maneuver you isolated so that way they can talk to you without without any casualties. But we're hard headed. Targeted individuals are hard headed because we're so used to living a regular life that we don't know how to live life without it. We tend to, well, I'm going to do whatever it is that listen, with this gang stalking stuff, I ended up stabbing my brother 4 times and went to jail for it, and eventually got out, and I apologized. Good, but he had no idea what was going on, and I'm talking from experience. So believe me, communicate with these beings before you end up where you don't want to be. You're either going to be in jail, dead, or in an insane asylum, mental hospital. Get to know your creator, because your creator will raise your vibration. You're already a target. You're already a chosen person. You're part of the chosen people in this program. So they choose people that seem weak but are a lot stronger than they are. But we tend to think stupid like, and we end up either hurting ourselves in this process, or we end up hurting somebody else, and it becomes something very, very dire. It's a dire situation. So keep my best advice from my experience, keep your cool. You know, they're gonna try to push you to the edge. They're gonna try to see how far they can push the envelope. You know, this you kill somebody, they're not going to jail, you're going to jail. You die, they're not dying, you're dying. So you have to be able to keep a level of ignorance to the things that's going on around you. Like if you don't see it, you gotta be able to play deaf, like you don't hear it. But that's just my advice for the people that are in total denial that they have ever done anything wrong to anybody. But trust me, you're either gonna come around to the way that I think and how these people can affect your life, or you're going to be part of the targeting system for a really long time. And they don't mind doing this at all. I can't get no rest. They do dream manipulation, nightmares. You can feel it. They've put me in a a simulation of hell, and I felt the fire. My dreams. They manipulate my dreams, and they know how to make me feel whatever I dealt with it. So learn to elevate yourself. You want to become better. You know, you want to become stronger. Then you got to raise your awareness, your spiritual awareness to the things that's going on around you, in order for you to get an understanding of the situation. Because there is no such thing as a dead end. Everything has a way out. Get to know your creator, whoever he may be, whoever she may be, and break down and be sincere. And these gang stalkers and these operators and these do weapon operators, they can understand that because, like I said, you're connected to them, they're connected to you. They can tell when you're being sincere. So you have to be sincere in order to gain some kind of respect or trust from these operators or these people or entities or whatever they may be. You have to be sincere. They have to sit there and say, well, he's worth a shot. You know, that's what they told me. I was worth a shot. And look at the things that I'm doing now. I'm trying to help out targeted individuals all over to have a better understanding of what's going on, and where you don't have to chase after gang stalkers because they don't know no better. They're innocent. They don't know no better. Let me know when you see a check or a pay stub, or where government actually hands over money to these people. There's no payment to this. They're totally unaware. Every time when I was going through gang stalking and I confronted every single individual, you know, they said, "Well, you're fucking going crazy," and I doubted my entire family, because now that they turned down the gang stalking, it's like everything is back to normal. Now that I gained a part of my life back through these steps that I'm feeding you, I've managed to get most of my life back. I can do whatever it is that I want, but you can't fight. Jesus said, if you get struck in the face, turn the other cheek and get struck in the other face. You know, because you don't want to hurt somebody. You don't know if you're hurting an innocent person. You don't want to hurt yourself, because that's painful for the creator, you know, and for your family. You don't want to do that. You don't want to put I've actually had a friend when I first started communicating with the targeted community, and he ended up dying, and I played a huge part of that because I didn't help him out the way I should have, because I was so ignorant to the fact that, you know, who is this community? So use the community to the best of your advantage and try to diffuse stage 3, because stage 3 becomes a very difficult stage. You'll either hear these voices 24/7 at a constant rate, where there is no pause in their sentences, where there is no stopping them talking, where they're constantly manipulating you. They can move your body, force talk. You can force talk, force walk, force think. You're no longer you no longer have access to your body the way that you once thought. So the only way to have access to your body is to break down and submit to the fact that you might have done something wrong, and the only way that you can fix it is by trying to fix it. You know, I know most people are very prideful, and they're like, "Well, fuck you. You don't know anything about me. You don't know this. You don't know that. How do you know that I even did this?" These people know. So if they say you did something, it's because you did it, and they're trying to let you know that you did it. They're trying to let you know that they didn't like it. So you either man up and accept the consequences, whatever they may be, which for me was gang stalking, B2K, and do weapons. I've dealt with my consequences, and now they lessened up. So now I can live my life like a normal human being, and I'm trying to feed this information to you guys so that way this might help you out. This might save your life. These videos that I make might save your life, because I've been dealing with this for 5 years and it was intense. And I managed to make it better through finding my creator, understanding, mainly understanding, because I needed to understand my creator and what he was doing before I could sit there and understand what these voices were doing. I had to ask permission for my creator to grant me the knowledge to be able to, defend myself from these voices. And he granted me that. So get to know who your creator is. Become one with the universe. You have to elevate yourself. You want to stand out, or you want to be under the radar. The only way to do that is by listening and talking, and not talking too much or listening too much. Don't use your hands. Don't use a gun. Don't use a knife. Don't use your feet. Don't use a car to crash into somebody or anything like that, because you're gonna make the situation worse for yourself. And while you're in jail, you're gonna be gang stalked. You're gonna be talked to with these voices. So it's never ending. So don't make your situation worse than what it is. If you want to fight these people, the best way to fight these people is with your mind. If they're showing you negative images, well, think of a positive image and counter that. But make it a story so they can understand, because that's what they like. They like to be able, they're very articulated people where they can understand exactly what you're saying, even though you're not saying it with words. Let them know how special you are. Let them know how important you are. That's how you fight this. You don't fight this by going to the government, shooting it up. You don't fight this by killing somebody or the people who was following you. They ain't touch you. They ain't kill you. They ain't harm the things around you, but they ain't harm you. So you can't make you can't try to harm people, because they could be innocent. They could be mind manipulated. You never know. And when they snap out of it, when you snap out of it, you just might have hurt somebody. So take the time out to get to know yourself and get to know your limits, because they're going to try to push your limits to the maximum. They're going to try to drive you crazy, because if you're in total denial of the process, and because if you follow the process, if you follow the program, there's an end to it. But if you don't follow the process and you don't follow the program, and by that I mean redemption, if you don't redeem yourself, then you're going to go insane and you're going to end up hurting somebody. Stage 3 is one of the worst. So be very, very, very careful as to what you do, because it's detrimental to your life. Don't become isolated for the rest of your life. Find a way to fight that with your mind, not with your body. Stage 3, Luis Torres, targeted individuals, community. I look forward to talking to you some more, let you know a little bit more, and I hope that you can subscribe to hear more. All right. Bye. Hello, my name is Luis Torres. I'm a TI for about 5 years, and I wanted to discuss stage two. Stage two is where they actually confront you. I'm not 100% sure as how gang stalking does it because I already dealt with gang stalking for maybe about a month or two, like at most, which was the most intense that I've ever felt. But I know with B2K, this is where they stop the subliminal messages and directly start having conversations with you to let you know exactly what you have done wrong or what they didn't like or anything like that. You have to understand that they always point out a problem. It's always a problem that is either in your life, that has happened in your life, or that, happened in somebody else's life. So this at this point, it's an accusation. You're dealing with an accusation, and this accusation is what's the main motive behind your targeting. In a spiritual aspect, this is a detrimental point in your life where you either cause somebody harm or you influence somebody the wrong way, and these beings or these entities or people, whatever they may be, didn't like it, and it became the main source for your targeting. Um, they'll have conversations with you and let you know that this is who I am. They'll let you know. They'll have code names for themselves. They won't directly tell you their names, but they'll tell you a name that they're comfortable with. And if you're smart enough, you'll be able to decipher that, and you'll be able to find out who they truly are. And as long as you surprise them, be like, well, is your name this? And is your name that? Is your name this? And as long as you're doing your studies in psychology, you'll be able to decipher their reactions. You'll be able to decipher their responses. So you'll be able to find out a little bit about them, but it takes time and it takes a lot of hard work. The study of a human behavior is very hard. You have to study more than one person in order to sit there and create a percentage of what a person would do or what a person wouldn't do. However, you need to be able to study your operators individually because usually it's more than one operator. As far as gang stalking, that just means that they don't want to. If they don't confront you about it, they'll do it in a subliminal way, but it'll be more intense. Everybody talking about this. They want to make sure that you don't forget what they're talking about. So you have to be able to open your mind and say, well, if I did this, or you can tell them, show me. And they'll give you visions. They'll inject these visions into your head or memories. At first, I was saying that it was visions, but I realized that, after I stopped hiding myself from these people, I started realizing that they have total access to your memories. So they're capable of taking you back in time into that moment where you actually done something wrong. Now, I don't suggest this for anybody who's going through gang stalking, but if you're ready for it, if you feel as though you're ready for the next level to communicate with these entities or beings and find out what's really going on, just know that gang stalking is just a minute part of it. While you're being gang stalked, they are monitoring your neural activity, so they can hear what you hear, see what you see, feel, inject thoughts, and all kinds of this stuff. So while you're going through gang stalking, you're still capable of talking to these people, even though they're not around you. You can talk to them, through your mind, which is, telepathic communication. And by doing so, it's just like when you're reading a book. I said this in the last video. It's just like when you're reading a book, you use that inner voice, or you can even speak out loud. But in order for people not to think that you're crazy, I would say use your inner voice. Now, keep antagonizing them and say, I know that you're there. I want to talk to you. I want to find out what's going on. And you could just possibly trigger a telepathic communication with the gang stalkers in order to find out what's going on. However, I don't recommend this because if you're not ready for V2K or telepathic communication, then you just might have just bumped the bee's nest and stirred up the storm. So, you have to be very careful. But if you're ready, and when you're ready, you can communicate with these people. And this is the confrontation. Now, the confrontation is, well, we don't like this. And, they might not even be so upfront about it. They'll just be like, well, you did this. My voices, after a while, broke down and started letting me know. Or my operators, because I hate to say voices because it makes me sound schizophrenic, and I'm not schizophrenic. But my operators or these entities, they started expanding their answers. It went from, all right, well, you did this. So you did this and I don't like this because this and this and this. Or, if I've ever offended a man in any way or a woman, they would say, well, you offended this woman and this is why I feel offended by the way that you offended this woman. So they make it a personal vendetta against you, that you have actually caused some kind of discomfort in somebody's life. So they want to punish you for it. This is how they do things. This is the way that they police. This is a new way of policing that they're doing against us. So they want to fix something, but they don't want to fix it unless you're capable of fixing it yourself and you're willing to fix it yourself. So you have to sit there and learn how to, well, listen, I apologize. And they won't go for I'm sorry in the beginning because, at the beginning stages, they'll sit there and say, well, you're only saying sorry because we're doing this. So you have to be able to say, well, I want to fix this because you genuinely want to fix this. Not because you hear voices, but because you genuinely want to fix this. And in order to fix this, you have to be able to find a problem. And, in the beginning, stage one is where people don't know what's going on because, it's like somebody's attacking you and you don't know what's going on with what's going on. So you're hearing these sounds, you're seeing these visions, or you're experiencing these emotions or feelings or scenarios, but you have no idea what's going on. So that's where they isolate you, so that way they can communicate you the most. So that way you can find out. But they won't make it easy. You have to put in the footwork. You have to ask questions. Well, why am I here? And sometimes it'll be a spiritual answer. My girlfriend, she's a targeted individual. She's been a targeted individual for about 7 to 8 months now. And they told her, well, listen, you came from heaven. You came from heaven. You left heaven to come to earth, and we don't want you on earth, because they sit there and say, well, we're trespassers. So everybody that's a targeted individual is a trespasser against these entities or these people, operators, whatever it is that they may be. You're stepping in their territory. And the reason why they want to isolate you so much is to communicate with you and to keep you from interacting with any kind of social like behavior with anybody, because they feel as though you're not worthy, or you haven't earned your right to be a part of society. So they want to separate you from society. It's like living in hell, where you're totally separated. Your parents aren't your parents, children aren't your children, your friends aren't your friends, because everybody's acting erratic. I've had a combination of V2K, gang stalking, and dual weapons all at one time. So I've had all three. It wasn't all consistent. I hear the V2K or the voices or these operators the most, more than I do gang stalking. But once I've experienced gang stalking is an ongoing process. And even though it might not be out in the open, gang stalking is a process that affects everybody every day. So whenever there's an argument in the house, all of that is part of the gang stalking, that, they're targeting other people in your household in order to get them to look at you differently, or manipulate their brain patterns in order to look at you differently. This is how people think that they're recruiting people, but it's not. It's all mind manipulation, where they try to use the people around them because they sit there and see that these people are capable of being used, and being used unaware. So they don't know that they're being used. A lot of the people don't know that they're being used. A lot of the people don't know why they're following you. They're just following you off of either instinct, thought, because they injected a thought into them. So, the confrontation of, of everything is where you have to, open your mind up and see where you did wrong. It's like the 12 steps for Alcoholics Anonymous or Drug Anonymous or anything like that. You have to understand that there is an inventory that you have to do in order to make things right. You have to not please them, but show them that you're capable of rising above the initial confrontation, because the initial confrontation is what got you into the program or into the situation that you're in now. So as far as new weapons, you have to communicate. You have to find a way to communicate with these beings, and they won't stop. They'll lessen up, or they'll change their tactics from aggressive to passive aggressive. But in order to do that, you have to be able to open your mind up to understand that, man, I might have done something to deserve this, And a lot of people say, well, they haven't done nothing. But if you look at Jesus, Jesus ain't do nothing, and he got punished. So, they saw a problem with Jesus that, I hate to go into religion because there's so many religions, and not every audience member that's watching this video is, believes in Jesus or believes in the Prophet Muhammad or anything like that. But what I'm trying to say is that innocent people get attacked too because of a reason. Either you're a threat to them, you have shown them some way that you are a threat to them, and they want to stop that. So you have to open your mind up and say to yourself, all right, well, they're confronting me about this, so how can I change either myself, the situation, or change the way that they're thinking in order to stop or in order to lessen the attacks that you're going through? Because it's all part of empathy and sympathy. You have to be empathic to these beings because these beings don't want to do this. If they're human, no human wants to do this unless you're a total psychopath and you actually enjoy hurting somebody. It's not human nature to enjoy hurting somebody. Usually when you hurt somebody, you end up, feeling bad and want to apologize. So these voices, these targetees, not targetees, these operators, they're going to let you know that you did something wrong, and they'll let you know why you did something wrong. Now, what I'm trying to get across is that you have to get your point across that you want to fix this. You want to fix this somehow. And by you opening yourself up to apologizing, to making yourself a better person, you elevate yourself to a higher existence or to a higher plane. You find things differently. Because I know that a lot of the comments lately have.
How's it going? My name is Luis Torres. This is a 24/7 targeted individual live support stream for all targeted individuals. I'm here to help out targeted individuals, help get an understanding as to what is going on in their lives. My sole purpose is to get you from one threshold to another. I am here in good company as I have other entities in my body who are willing to help you get to the gates of heaven. However, in order to do so, you must be able to believe 100%. You have to be able to give yourself to Christ, or the Prophet Muhammad, whoever it is that you follow, as they are your prophets. In the last days, everybody goes to their prophets, and if you do not have a prophet, you will go back to the closest leader that you have. The time has come where these entities are being revealed in a timely fashion, so you guys can understand and be aware of the things that's actually going on in this world. This world is actually captured, and the hive mind children are now versus the 144,000. You have to understand that you are outnumbered and you are outmatched. But God sent lions and they sent sheep. He sent lions, but he sent lion vicious sheep. That's what he did, which is supposed to be a funny thing, and it's like a humor. But yeah, taught by lions in order to fight this battle. You have to mentally be strong, physically be strong, and spiritually strong, as we are to endure this type of torment for quite some time. This has been passed down as the beast system is currently active, and the beast system has been active for quite some time. There is an assassination program that is currently taking place, and they are actually suiciding these targeted individuals in order to sacrifice them for whatever purpose they might have. Their sins are what's weighing them down. And I want you to know that every day I pray for you guys, and I hope that you guys are safe, because I know that you're capable of a lot more. You guys are superhuman in my book. And this is just an operator using Luis Torres' body in order to communicate with you guys. This is not Luis Torres, but however, those who actually have experienced the things that Luis has actually experienced, those are the flock that belong with Luis, as they are targeted during the process of telepathy. However, Lewis does go through gang stalking, as he is capable of reading into the program and reading the fine print of the programs. He wants to be able to teach you guys this. However, you have to be able to open your mind and open your heart to the things that I have to say, as I will not lead you astray. And these things are what I am actually going through. I am broadcasting in a safe location, as I am far away from the gang stalking program. The gang stalking program is usually in cities uh, or congested areas, as they are trying to uncongest that area. They are going to use this system in order to uncongest that area and to manipulate and move people around. This is how they're doing it. It is a building block. And this nigga's actually telling them everything. I gotta help him. So look for the moon. As the moon, you can see it. It's not in the night sky like it usually is. It's actually off during the sun. I mean, with the sun, which is complicated, but the moon, the stars, everything is different. The world has changed. It is currently being ran by a system. Before it was a free program, but now it's ran by a system, and it's been ran by a system for quite some time, even beyond my lifespan. I have just recently started working for these individuals, but I will not sell my soul to these individuals, as these individuals will not capture me. So now I am using their system against them, and I am sending individuals in order to help you out. But you have to be very cautious as to the information that you retain, because the information that you retain is very important, by as it can program you according to what you believe this is. Again, I am an entity. You can call me Ghost, and I am using Lewis's body in order to communicate with you guys. However, I have managed to fix Lewis's life, so now he is fixing it on his own. I made him aware of what was going on, and I wanted to see if he was going to join the group or not join the group. However, you guys are capable of joining the group. Uh, just be careful who you talk to, what you say, and what you do. Your job is to wake up the other targeted individuals. Try not to focus so much on other people. I mean, this sounds selfish to say, but the other people are hive mind children, as they all connect with each other and all are capable of being used and manipulated by this system in order to get their personal goal and gain out of this situation. However, I want you to know that yeah, you guys are actually in a lot of trouble. So you guys got to save yourselves, as the society no longer claims you guys. And the only way that you can get back in the system is by going to the new system, which is the God system. And the God system is currently being formulated, as they are giving this time for the humans to find out what they're going to do with this information. But it's a giant battle that is going on, as the battle is taking place in the cyber world, where there is good guys and bad guys, and these bad guys can control you and try to kill you, while these good guys try to find out what's actually going on. It usually starts off as an investigation and leads over to, goddamn, this nigga's actually exposing everything. All right, so it usually leads into some kind of decision, whether you're going to go to jail or die. And a lot of the people who are targeted are usually in the elimination program, where these individuals have to be eliminated because they are not like hive mind children, which makes me think, I wonder if I'm a hive mind children, or maybe this guy has actually reached out to me, and maybe this or maybe that, but I don't know. But we're here to help you out. My name is Luis Torres, and I've been a targeted individual for about 5 years. I am no longer in the system or the program as I exist in the outside source of the system. I am capable of living a normal life. However, I am aware of the things as these things have been revealed to me, and now I'm revealing them to you. So the best thing to do is find a center of peace or a community that is willing to accept you. But in order to do so, you have to wait for a signal and reach out to targeted individuals all over the place. The only time you'll feel safe is around a targeted individual, as they are going through the same thing and they are not hive mind children, so they are incapable of hurting you. But in order to understand or trust another targeted individual, you have to be able to gauge and match them out, help you guys out. You have to be able to listen to everything that I'm saying, because this is some very serious next level stuff. Because if you are not strong enough, you will suffer the consequences of dying and possibly going to hell, depending on what religion you believe. But these targeters or operators to this system, there's actually targeters and there's operators. We're operators, they're targeters. The people who's trying to kill you are targeters. However, you have to be very cautious, because we will send people to help you out, and we'll send them in the body of other people that you know. So you can't just go around punching everybody. You can't just go around trying to hurt everybody, because you might just fuck around and hit the people that we actually got looking out for you. So be very careful and cautious as to what you do. You're being awakened to the abilities that you have, as your abilities are now dictating the subcategory that you are currently living in. I am going to speak in code during this message for those who can actually hear what I'm saying, and the operators that hear what I'm saying. I am working for the same forces that you guys are working with, and I am telling you that you have to turn around and stop doing what you're doing. A lot of these people have sold their souls because they've been in this motherfucking system for quite a fucking long time, that they are just numb to the fact that they're actually killing people off. They feel as though they're doing something really good. I'm gonna be talking for quite a long time. Lewis, do you have any objections to this? No, no, I don't. I mean, talk to. All right, so I want you guys to know that my name is Spencer, and I am one of Luis Torres's personalities that's in his body. I'm going to use technical terms and logical terms in order to confuse uh, the doctors that might be watching this, as there might be doctors watching this information in order for them to study my behavior and thought patterns in order to dictate where I'm going to go and what I'm going to do. I want you to know that your devices are now emitting a signal frequency that is now feeding audio and video to to unknown sources. They have managed to manipulate this type of technology and can now broadcast themselves into your soul as this technology, which is invisible. It is part of the invisible spectrum. It has been a gift that God has given us, and we are now using it to harm and hurt people. God is now in our presence, and I want you guys to know that He is watching everything and anything and everything that you guys do. However, He has managed to separate your personalities from the hive-minded children. So the things that these hive-minded children do, you will not be held accountable for, because you are being controlled by another individual or another entity that is going to make you different or negative. Man, we're not reaching out to people like we should be reaching out to people. They think you're crazy, bro, because you talk to yourself. You have multiple personality disorder. You gotta shave your mustache. What's up, guys? I mean, listen, yo, this is serious, man. I'm actually getting bored because I'm doing this on a 24/7 level. So I need people in order to keep this channel up and running, to make new content that we can sit here and show other individuals, as long as it has some kind of artistic feel to it, some artistic way to it, so we can now educate the masses the best that we can. Uh, while trying to keep ourselves safe and at a distance from the rest of these individuals. Every time that we get separated like this, it's because God is trying to move us to a different location. So you have to be able to be ready to up and go whenever you want, and to wherever you want, to find a targeted individual community, as the future will hold a targeted individual community. You guys know that it's not Lewis. Lewis, say something. All right. What I'm trying to get a point across is that we got to get together, and we have to come together all at one in order to fight this battle. We're not going to fight it with arms. We're not going to fight it with force. We're going to fight it by separating our royal bloodline, or how special you are, or whatever. You're not royal bloodline, because like people will take that into their head and it'll bring pride, which is seven deadly sins. And that was Spencer who taught. But nonetheless, this is what I'm trying to get across to you guys. We have to be separated from the rest of these individuals, as these individuals are hive mind creatures, and there is going to be a special event that is going to happen in your life. But these individuals are trying to see it. They're trying to bear witness as to what's going on in your life, because they're going to be communicating. God is going to be communicating with each and every individual that that has these targeting happening to them. And what I want you to know is that He's going to reach out to you guys. You know, so be very patient. Uh, look for the angels. They're around. They hide just like we do. And these demons can see them just like we do, but they're afraid of them. So they act like normal when they see these angels. The angels are walking around. There are special people, or certain people from heavens, that is now coming down to help other people out. This is actually uh, how this is happening. Uh, it's in the Quran. What's actually happening right now, and I'll explain it in the Quran terms in case those who do not know what it is to read the Quran, or know anything about the Quran. The first heaven has broken. Probably the second heaven has broken. Man is in disarray and in a drunken state, like it has been foretold in the Quran. And in the Bible terms, I will break it down in the Bible terms for you guys. All right, so this is what's happening. The angels are about to destroy the rest of the earth. Uh, and I can't get in trouble for that, because that ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm just warning you guys about it. What I'm trying to warn you guys about is that Jesus is now sealing the 144,000. So do the best that you can to be selected to be one of the 144,000. But just don't go too much, because if it's destined for you, then it's going to be destined for you. But if it's not, we're not going to leave you behind, as the mass multitude will come with us. That's just a Bible term. And in the Torah, what this has happened in the Torah before, where the slaves of, or the Hebrew slaves, were freed from the bondage of Pharaoh. So in retrospect, we are now living life again, where we are in bondage and we are waiting for our Savior to come and save us from this. However, I am speaking to the Creator, and He wants me to communicate with you guys in order to get you guys to where you guys got to go. However, I don't want to take the position of a leader. I can help the leader. I can dictate the leader. I am like Moses, where I need an Aaron. So if you are capable of being my Aaron in order to be a public figure, in order to speak to these individuals, because my public record is a lot worse than anything, and they did that for a reason, in order to keep me discredited from anything that I say, as I would have been a criminal and a but now I am a vigilante. What I'm doing is I'm using my words in order to broadcast this information to you, so that way you can be able to understand what's going on. By you understanding and confirming what is going on, it is a release of a contract that you are already in, and it is of just a release of a contract that you're already in. Because you are currently in a contract and bound by this world through the flesh, spirit is trying to go back to the Creator. However, the spirit is stuck. So as God is now waiting for these individuals to pass into the heavens, He is counting and numbering them all. So now God is understanding, not understanding, but now God is in effect, as far as to oh man, well, there's certain people that didn't come. I got to go find out why they didn't come. So God is now present on the earth, that is trying to find out why we didn't come to Him when He called us. Yeah, we actually gotta like gather together and stay together, so we can all get raptured together, and nobody actually has to bear witness to that.
It is going to be like the Mayans or the Aztec Indians, where a whole civilization just up and disappeared, because we're going to ascend to the next level. God came for us himself. We are his children, not blood children, but we are his children. We are his chosen ones, to be his children. And I just want you to know that. And as far as the Muslims who are actually going through this, you have the spirit of a Sahaba, as the 144,000 is also explained in the Quran, that they are companions of the Prophet. So if you are a Muslim and you hear this type of technology or go through this type of thing, then you are one of the Sahabas for the Prophet. So you have to be able to lead a lot of people. I know it's going to be hard because Quran and Sunnah, but you have to be able to use Quran and Sunnah and still be able to communicate with these individuals, as they will tell you that you communicate with jinns. However, you do not communicate with jinns. Well, you actually do communicate with jinns, but I'm trying to say they do not influence you if you don't allow them to influence you, because you are capable of not listening to these individuals and doing the things that they want you to do by freeing yourself. So I'm just giving you the way to free yourself. But in order to understand how to free yourself, you have to understand that you are chosen and selected in order to communicate with the Creator. So find the Creator wherever he may be. He is totally connected to you. Keep looking up in the skies. That'll be a hint. He'll be there waiting for you guys, as you will be able to see him whenever you want. The whole world is going to be changing as the Creator is coming. But first, there has to be a set number of signs and signals that will let you guys know. But now you guys can see it. Now you guys can hear it. Now you guys can feel it. So these are the signals and signs that the Creator is coming. And these individuals are now trying to kill off as many people as they can before he comes, as a desperate attempt to try to hide everything that they have done. But what they don't understand is that the Creator is already here and that he is present in my life. I can actually see him out of the corner of my eye. And this is actually pretty some scary shit, because he is like just here. But nonetheless, I got to continue my job to try to free you guys. Um, if you want to look at the Creator right now, as he is being the sun at this present moment, you can go outside of your house, look up, and that is your Creator. So he's there. I try to communicate with as many people as possible, to let these people know this. I know I might sound crazy. I know I might sound mentally ill, but just bringing that up is like programming you to think that I'm mentally ill and that I am going through some psychological issues. However, I'm not going to program you about that. This is the truth and fact, but you have to believe it. You live in the world that you dictate and what the world that you accept. So they're feeding you this world that you have to actually work in order to survive and live. The only thing you got to do is just grow your own food. The only thing you got to do is grow your own your plants, grow your own plants, grow your own vegetation, eat vegetation for a while. God is going to take us to the promised land, but you have to be willing and ready to be able to go to the promised land. But my main focus right now is bringing you the truth, as I have read the Torah, I have read the Gospel, and I have read the Quran. So they reside in me, and now they are being activated for me to use the conversation that you understand in order for me to be able to talk to you. Welcome to the one of the viewers. It's a pleasure to see you. We're here to try to help you out. If you have any questions, concerns, and or comments, please use the live chat feature in order to communicate with me, and I'll reach out to you and give you any information. I give you full permission to study me or study any of this communication methods, as it might enlighten you and bring you into the world just a little bit closer. So again, please don't be afraid to use that live chat feature in order to get any answers to the questions that you might have. So that way I'm not just rambling. I will be able to pinpoint with pinpoint precision, be able to understand your question. And if I don't understand your question, I'll be able to try to understand it. But nonetheless, my name is Luis Torres, and I am a targeted individual.
I've been a targeted individual for about 5 years. The whole concept of being a target is being released from the current system that is in the place and putting you into the new system, as the new system dictates is going to wipe out the old system, because the old system was flawed and was made for people that have monetary gain. But this new system is going to be based on the people that have knowledge is a monetary value. So educate yourself as much as possible with many different kinds of information, as you are a living, breathing computer that is capable of retaining information beyond comprehension. So the only way that you can ever elevate yourself and be of any of importance is to be able to educate yourself. Most people try to put you in a slave program by telling you that you have to be one way and only one way for the rest of your life. So, for example, if you're a carpenter, you're going to be a carpenter for the rest of your life. However, you are capable of being better than that by widening your knowledge base, and only targeted individuals are capable of doing that because they retain information differently than any targeted individual in the world. um, my job here is to try to help you out. I'm gonna go for a quick break, and I'm going to put the video on in case you want to check out the channel. It's you can search me up as Adik102 or Luis Torres, targeted individual 2019. I've been a targeted individual for I've known that I was a targeted individual since the end of 2013. And I have been being manipulated, used, abused, and mistreated by these individuals who programmed my life to be the way that it was. However, I am outside the source and incapable of reaching out to any individual who wants to know any kind of information that they need regarding my past life, this life, and the next, as I do have access to all of it. So I am here to give you guys knowledge, because the first thing that you do with knowledge is spread it. That's how we managed to learn from our ancestors and from our past generations, as they pass down knowledge. However, there is secret knowledge that is being kept from you in order to be kept in power by these individuals that try to control the world through this power or through this technology that they don't have, as knowledge is the base of existence and God is the source of knowledge. So he is trying to give you this knowledge to help you understand the way the world works. However, these hive-minded children or these individuals who are capable of jumping from body to body are now hunting you down in order to try to kill you, because you are now in an elimination program, because you are not hive-minded person. You are a separate individual. So and you are one of the people who are capable of complaining about it because you see it, feel it, hear it with your own existence. So now that you hear it, see it, and feel it, you are capable of complaining about it and waking other people up. So these individuals are trying to stop you because you are capable of ruining their system. However, there is a new system in the place, and I'm trying to let you know this because the new system is based off of the old people. Now, the old people that I'm talking about are the people who actually lived for centuries and centuries and centuries, as they jump from life to life to life to life to life, because God sends us down here. So what I'm trying to tell you is that you are capable of communicating with God, as you are an ancestral person who is connected to God since the beginning of time, just like Jesus was, and he's reaching out to you guys in order to let you guys know that you guys are special beings, and that you guys have been selected for the new system to be outside of the old system, as the old system has been ran by monetary gain, and the power and knowledge has been kept from you guys. And in order to control you guys, they have to keep knowledge away from you guys, as this technology or this experience has already happened eons and decades ago. That's one of the first things that I've learned, was that this actually has been in a place for quite some time. But however, the system that is currently in a place have taught the individuals that anybody that hears voices, anybody that sees things, anybody that feels things go through a mental illness. It is some kind of brain stigma that allows you to be able to communicate with the creator himself, or to gain this source of knowledge that these individuals are now blessing you with. So my concept of this whole thing is a regrouping system, where they are regrouping people to be selected part of the new system that is currently ran by the 777 and God himself. As we will be connected to God slowly but surely, these individuals will be wakened up and they will come to us. However, we have to group together in order for us to get total communication, as God will reveal himself to us, and he'll do so in a timely fashion. Everything is already destined to happen the way it's happened. However, I am speeding up the process by letting you guys know this, as I am capable of maneuvering through space, time, and matter with my mind, not with my physical body, but with my spirit itself, as I am capable of traveling to many different locations through astral projection. Not many people know about astral projection, but you are capable of astral projecting your body the way that God can astral project his body, which is how he is capable of being on the throne and being somewhere else at the same time, because God is capable of having all of these abilities that you do. We are in his image, we are in his likeness, which means that we are capable of doing these things. And I'm letting you know this because they're giving you this ability in order for you to help control the world or re-control the world, as the world is being controlled by the old system, which is considered the B system. They're just trying to move the book of Revelation faster by creating this chip, which is on the right hand. And not many people want to do it because their soul doesn't want to do it, but they thought that they were controlling the people so well that they were going to get this mark. They're going to try to force it upon us. However, my job is to bring awareness to you guys about this that's going on, so that way you guys are capable of understanding and staying away from the chip. You do not need cities, you do not need society in order to exist. We can regroup and we can continue to live within ourselves, as we will be protected and we will be all in one location knowing about these things, as are the selected individuals to know about these things and to have been told about these things. But in order for you to understand, you have to be able to believe that there is a creator, and that this creator exists, and this creator is trying to manifest himself in your life. Because if you are capable of seeing these evil entities, if you are capable of seeing these evil beings, then you are capable of seeing God, the creator himself. He is always present in light. So if you want to be able to speak to God, then you got to be able to erect some kind of teleportation device, so that way God can come to you, which is why the whole what is it? The tabernacle of covenant? Is it something like that? But the box, that's how they manage to manifest God in the box, through the holy items. However, you are a holy item and you are capable of communicating with God, creating a portal or some kind of communication, whatever it may be, whether it be a portal, whatever it may be. You can communicate with God just like I can. All you have to do is, in case you want to get in contact with me or the operators that are in my body, please use the live chat feature, and I will address the questions that you have for me in any way that I can. Again, I am Luis Torres, and I am targeted individual for about 5 years. However, I live now in the new system and exist in the new system, and I am trying to regroup and collect everybody to go to the new system. However, in order to go to the new system, you have to watch my videos, as they will dictate the stages that you are actually going through. These individuals want you to know that you are imperfect, and that the only thing that's keeping you bound on earth is what they're complaining to you about. So you have to be able to confess your sins and let them know that you're going to try to make it work for you. And one of the things that you could do is start apologizing to the individuals who they say that you have actually done things to. It doesn't hurt to apologize, as it helps fix the problem. But in order for you to understand what's going on, you have to be able to open your mind up. Remember not to do suicide. You know, God isn't going to test you like that. I mean, not at this matter right now, not with the dire situations that's going on. This is actually end game stuff that's going on here. So they are trying to free you from this system, because the system is now rejecting you now that you know that the system exists. And the system that I'm currently talking about is the beast system, as the beast system has been in the place since Pharaoh times, as he was trying to mind manipulate and control the Israelites, and I think it was the Israelites or Hebrews. But nonetheless, my job here is to help you understand what's going on. My name is Luis Torres, and to give you a perfect picture of what's going on, I'm going to play one of the videos in order for you to, I'm going to play stage one. If this applies to you, then you're capable of knowing that you are actually selected and up and part of the new system. So I'm going to play the video. All right, I'm gonna play the video for you guys. This is gonna be stage one. In case you want to see this video on your own, you can see this. You can see this video on my YouTube channel, which is Audic 101 OT. I mean Audic 102, which is OTIC 102. Or you can use the keywords for my videos: target individual 2019, and I got stages 1 through 6. In case that applies to you, then you know that you are a targeted individual and that you're part of the targeted individual community, and that you are now being selected for the new system. The new system is going to reach out to you as God is sending out a regrouping squad in order to collect you guys, whether it comes from the sky, the ground, the earth, wherever it may come. Just be patient and be ready, as this will help you guys out understand what's going on. All right, let me go to. How's it going? My name is Luis Torres. I've been a TI for about 5 years. I wanted to talk about stage. When you're first made aware that you're actually being targeted, it usually starts off with sound. You don't really get the visuals at stage one, and it's not 24/7 in the beginning. In the beginning, they slowly introduce themselves into your life, and you'll think that you'll hear sounds like if other people's talking or talking about you, but it's not really that other people are talking about you. It's just the way that they carry themselves, or the way that V2K or the operators, I'll call them operators, but what I think is a spiritual thing. But most people actually think that it's a technological thing, you know. But from my experience, I've seen that it's something a lot greater than technology. You know, no amount of technology can control the weather or the sun. You know, I'll say the sun when the sun is bright, when the sun is not. There was times when my voices said, you know, pay attention to the sun. We're about to dim it, and the sunlight will be dimmed when they say it. You know, but back to the introduction. That's for another video. You'll be introduced to V2K or gang stalking through what I call subliminal messages. You'll receive subliminal messages from the TV, from people around you, from your family members, friends, that it'll seem like they're talking about you. It'll seem like what a main focus of a problem. And always keep in mind that problem, whatever it is that you're talking about, that means that's why you're on the whole program or whatever this is, because they want to address a problem. That's what they do. They want to address a problem, and they've addressed it. And in the beginning, it started off so small. Like if it was technology, they said it was the feds. When I first started talking to them, they said it was the feds and that I committed a crime. And that, you know, I was scared of that because I know I committed plenty of crimes in my time. So I didn't want to go to jail. So I would tell them, no, I didn't do this, I didn't do that, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. But as I learned, as I progressed through the levels, you know, from them introducing themselves, they wanted to just get their point across that I did something wrong in order to get into the program. So after a while of me denying, you know, any and every accusation that they can give me, I finally broke down and said, all right, well, listen, you know, I committed these crimes. So, you know, what are we going to go from here? So they said they would lock me up. But as time progressed, I didn't get locked up. So don't ever feel afraid. Don't ever feel afraid. Like if they're going to lock you up, kill you, don't be afraid of that. You give them power. You know, fear is what controls the mind. And what they want to do is control your mind. They want to control every aspect
of your thought process in order to keep you in that first stage. But once you realize why you've been in the program, you can address them about why you're in the program. So you have to be very aware of what's going on. That's why I say you have to be studying. You have to learn the way communication skills is between one person and another, because that's all this is. The whole program is based on communication and psychological programming for that communication. So when you think that, you know, that you're gonna die, or when you think that you're gonna go to jail, you know, it gives them a lot more power than you know. I like to call the program the redemption program, because from my experience, I only speak about the things that's going on with me, and hopefully that you can learn. But I call it the redemption program. After they sat there and told me that I did all of these vicious criminal acts, you know, I've sat there and said, well, where are we gonna go with this? And they said, well, what do you want? I said, I just want to be forgiven for everything. So then, you know, slowly but surely, one of the voices said, you know, he's being sincere, because they could tell when you're being sincere. They can hear what you hear, they can see what you see, they know what you think, they can make you think. Like, the whole program is designed to overpower yourself and to isolate you from regular people. And they'll use regular people. They'll mind control regular people. I know it sounds like sci-fi or anything like that, but for the people that's been through it, they know that it's not sci-fi. So I won't even address that, because it's like a slap in the face to them. But you'll notice that they'll use a lot of sound waves or a lot of background sounds in order to communicate with you in the beginning. After a while, they'll communicate with you. You'll either advance to gang stalking, or V2K, which means voice to skull, which means that you get voice in your head. And there's different types of ways that you get voice in your head. There's the thought, the way that you, like, let's say, for example, you're reading a book. I'm going to describe this so that way people who don't have it understand what it is. When you're reading a book in your mind, that voice in your head, that's how they talk to you. But they can use your voice and make it seem like it's you. But you have to be able to know yourself to know what you're thinking and what you would have thought. The whole thing is, how well do you know yourself, and how well do you know the people around you? Because they'll use anything and everything to try to separate you from reality. I managed to get by because of the whole redemption program. I picked a theme. You know, I could have sat there and did music. I could have elevated myself in any way that I wanted to, but I picked religion. And I don't believe in just one religion. I believe in religions, but that's just religion conversation. So I'll take that out of it. So you have to be able to pick a theme, something that's best for you. If you want to see them as a government, then you got to address them as a government. If you want to see them as spiritual beings, then you got to address them as spiritual beings. You can't flip flop, because the whole concept is to communicate with you. So when they pick one theme, when they notice that you're picking one theme, they'll try to scare you with that theme. Or at least the voices in my head try to, you know, pull me down to the things that I was thinking, because I thought they were FBI, I thought they were CIA, because that's what they were telling me. They were telling me that they were CIA. They were telling me that they were FBI. But they won't tell you who they are. That's what you gotta understand. No matter what they tell you, they won't tell you who they are, because they're not gonna get found out. There's no way that you're gonna find these people out. They're too smart, and they go through too many precautions in order to keep themselves from being found out. So stage one is when they introduce themselves through sounds and places. So it's certain places that'll trigger the sounds. There's certain situations that'll trigger the sounds. And then as they elevate, the sounds will progress from maybe a couple of hours to maybe 12 hours. Then eventually it'll go right into 24/7. You'll either get gang stalk 24/7 here, V2K, or a combination of both, or do weapons. I feel bad for the people who go through do weapons, because that's a lot of pain that they go through. And even gang stalking. Gang stalking is the most uncomfortable thing you can actually go through. Me dealing with the voices, it's all a mental thing. So all I have to do is just elevate my mental capacity in order to understand what's going on between the conversations from me and them and try to address what's going on, so that way I can find out the information that I need to find out. The whole thing is to find out the information that you don't have, why you're in this program, why they're doing this, and they won't do it right off the bat because they like doing what they're doing. It's not that they like doing it, but they have to do it because they put people through stress in order to elevate them. Now, if you fight against this program, if you fight against these voices, if you fight against gang stalking, it'll kill you. It can kill you. This whole thing can kill you. It'll drive you to suicide. So you have to be a lot stronger mentally, not physically, because physical appearances isn't what makes the person. The mind what makes the person. So you have to be a lot stronger. So as they're injecting these sounds into your body or into your mind, you have to separate that and understand it. All right, well, this is part of the program. This is part of the process. They want to communicate with me. I have to pay attention and I have to find out what is it that they're trying to tell me, because they're trying to tell you something. They'll let you know why you're in the program. And you'll get so scared at the fact that, oh my God, I could get in trouble. Or, oh my God, I could die. Or, oh my God, my family think like of me like this. No, it's all part of the program. And I've been dealing with targeted individuals for a while after I have managed the system and get myself to a better understanding of who I am and what these voices are trying to do. So you have to study. Nothing comes easy. So if you want some kind of peace in your life, study psychology, study social psychology. Why people do the things, why people do the things that they do, and it'll make you a lot better communicative towards your voices or communicative towards the gang stalking. And gang stalking, it's all a mental thing. So when people are following you, when people are doing things to you, breaking into your house, it's all what's supposed to happen, because those things would happen even if you weren't part of the program. So it makes it seem like you're being targeted because they want to speak to you, they want to single you out. You have to be very, very careful as to how you approach the thing. Don't go to anybody and tell them, oh, you're following me. Don't tell them, oh, you're part of the program, because they don't know nothing about it and they'll deny it, just like the voices would deny it. So you have to be very careful about what you do, because you could get yourself in trouble. You could land yourself in jail. Because it'll be from electronic harassment or spiritual harassment or whatever this is, and you'll turn it against where you're harassing other people and you're making other people uncomfortable. So keep it within yourself. This within yourself. Go to targeted individuals that understand what you're saying. Because if you go to a normal person, they won't understand what you're saying. You have to go to like-minded people. You have to go to the flock. Go to the people that understand you the most, which is the targeted individual. And let the targeted individual community educate other people, because it's not, you can't force somebody to be educated because they're part of the system, they're part of the program, they can be manipulated. You can't, for whatever reason. So don't let yourself be manipulated and fall back into the program, or don't let yourself fall back into their ways of thinking or the way that they treat you, because it's all mind control. You have to maintain, you have to keep your sanity, and you have to keep your profile the way it was while elevating. It's hard because you got to keep yourself, you have to find yourself, and you have to keep yourself 100% the way it was. So you're elevating, but you're stagnant. And as you elevate, when you get more smarter, when you get more knowledgeable, get more intellectual to this program, you'll understand that these sounds, that the stage one isn't going to affect you, because all it is fear. Stage one is fear. Introduce fear to the person so that way they can obey anything and everything that we're trying to do. If they can put fear in your heart, if they can put fear in your mind, then they can control you. So don't be afraid. They can't kill you. They cannot kill you. It is against what they're trying to do. They cannot kill you, but you can kill yourself. And that's not their fault, because that just means that you were weak-minded. You can't blame nobody for you not having a strong enough mind in order to make you strong enough for any situation. So they'll throw you in a scenario. And that's what stage one is, to find out where they can put you. You know, eventually they'll enter stage 2 is when they start communicating with you a lot more, and it becomes a 24/7 thing, and they introduce themselves as an entity, or they'll introduce themselves as a force to be reckoned with. But don't bother so much on trying to find who these people are, because these people are going to be there on your dying bed. These people will be there. I will hear these voices on my dying bed. My last breath, I will still hear these voices. There is no escape from this unless they want you to be by yourself and away from the program. But in order to do that, you can't beg them. That's something that they do on their own. You have to keep your sanity, because as you're introduced to this, you become so fearful that you don't know what you're doing, that nobody's there to help you, that nobody can back you up, that nobody's there. But you have to understand that we're here for you, and so is God. God sent the community in order to keep you safe and to keep you understood, because you're not alone. So as you're watching this, just know the introduction to stage 1 is just for them to pin you down. Stage 1 is just to pin you down. Hello, my name is Luis Torres. I'm a targeted individual, and I've been a targeted individual for about 5 years. Today, I wanted to talk about stage 3. You know, the battle, or the fight. Stage 3 is actually the most intense. This is actually where they raise the bar as far as your targeting, and you'll either hear, as far as V2K, you'll hear, it'll sound like the same phrases over and over, and you'll get upset. You'll curse them out. You'll let them know how much of a piece of shit they are. You'll let them know how much scum they are.